Welcome back to Absolutely Crossover with Absolute Comics. Are we allowed to cross over with ourselves and we're the same show, Sal?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hollywood does it all the time.
So do a lot of my app games. My favorite's always been like a Final Fantasy game crosses over with another Final Fantasy game. And you're just like, oh man, the Final Fantasy 14 crossing over with Final Fantasy 16 crossover? How did they get the license?
Right? Yeah.
No, today we wanted to have a fun chit chat. Sponsor today is just my hot sauce. Go check out thishotsauceis.com. Get yourself Hatch and Jalapeno. Help give us a great Christmas by buying it, and then you can have a great Christmas that's going to be spicy. Definitely situational to go with that.
Love it.
That's way too loud. I need my background music in my head, otherwise I don't know what's going on, and now I can't hear anything because it's super, super loud. Did not adjust that mix. Anyway, so today we thought it'd be fun since there's no real, we're going to do a couple videos on the news that did drop, but there's nothing crazy. And there won't be until Christmas. If this is your first year with Absolutely or Absolute Comics, Sal and I always take these 2 weeks off. So we're taking 2 weeks off because there's just not enough to talk about. We don't feel like killing ourselves trying to find topics.
Exactly.
So let's talk about 2023. And to make it simple, Sal, because we have a whole topic we want to talk about when it comes to the world of comics.
Yeah.
Let's start with movies. What is your? I'm gonna give a pass on this on all of these. We get to pick 3. Okay.
Ooh.
That way we're not stuck doing one. Because I'll tell you right now. My three. I got Spider-Verse, of course.
Right. Okay.
Guardians 3, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Transformers, Beast Wars, because I just like seeing them on screen. The movie was not great, but it made
I still haven't seen it. I wanted to see it because it looks.
It's so good for the nostalgia of the Beast Wars fandom.
Yeah.
The movie itself is meh.
It looks meh.
But here's the kicker, and here's why I'm judging those 3. They're the only 3 movies I can remember that came out this year, other than Barbie, and Barbie was not made for me. So it was a good movie, not made for me. So
yeah.
There's only one you didn't mention that it would be my third, because the Spider-Man obvious and Guardians, I feel like those are kind of obvious for top contenders. The Super Mario Bros. Movie. Honestly, I thought that one came out a lot better than I think everyone was expecting, especially considering everyone's initial opinions of Chris Pratt's lack of a Mario voice. But I thought it turned out to be an amazing film. So
before we get Sal's, the thing is, guys, I never remember what came out in this year. So if I do remember it, to me, it's memorable.
Right?
Because I don't. They mentioned right now they're naming off a few. And I won't say them so that Sal can have his clean head, what he wants to do. But a few of them I'm like, oh yeah, that did come out. I guess I didn't remember it.
Right.
Sal?
No, there's a bunch. Yeah, there's a bunch of movies that came out in 2023 that I saw. And there are a bunch of movies in 2023 that I, in 2022, would have thought I would really look forward to. You know what I mean? There were movies that I was like, oh man, I can't wait to see this, that, and the other thing. And most of the movies I couldn't wait to see were kind of bad. Or they did horribly, or no one shares my opinion. You know what I mean? I enjoyed The Marvels. I wouldn't say it's my top 3.
No.
But I did like it, certainly more than Ant-Man 3, which also isn't in my top 3. Or Shazam 2, or Blue Beetle, or Indiana Jones 5, or
The Flash.
I don't know.
Or
I
The
liked
Flash.
Blue Beetle. I thought Blue Beetle was actually a
what did
lot better than I was
liked.
expecting.
Yeah, I liked
Do
the
you
Blue.
remember them? Did they stay with you? Because
Right,
I remember
not top
Spider-Verse,
3, but
Guardians,
definitely
exactly.
not that movie of 20.
No, I also liked Blue Beetle enough to be like, it was good. It was fine.
The FNAF movie came out. That actually wasn't bad. Chat's letting us know.
What movie?
FNAF, Five Nights at Freddy's. If you haven't seen it,
Oh yeah, no, I didn't see it. I couldn't
good.
care less. Yeah.
I like
And
horror movies, Sal.
That's true. And I never saw Oppenheimer. I missed Oppenheimer. I got to watch it at home now.
That one I'm waiting for the HBO Max release or whoever gets it, because at 3.5 hours, I know I'm going to want to browse my phone while watching the slow moments.
Yeah, that's fair.
I could do it. See, here's the thing, guys, because everyone's like, oh, Betty just didn't have the attention span to do it. No, I have gone and seen 3.5, 4-hour movies.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I have to look at the topic and be like, will I find that interesting for 3.5 hours?
Yeah.
Just because I can do it doesn't mean I want to go spend $150 to bring me, the wife, get food, go out to dinner after. Do I want to go spend $150 on that topic, or would I prefer to see that one in the house?
Yeah.
Right. No, that's a great point because I feel like Guardians, the greatest comparison for me with that is Guardians versus Black Panther, where both of them I think were like 2.5 hours. But I was a lot more invested in Guardians because Black Panther, I was very aware of how long the movie was taking. Whereas Guardians, I feel like the ending snuck up on me pretty quick because it was so.
That was Spider-Verse.
That one I think was so well paced, though.
Yeah.
I think that like just.
Spider-Verse,
well
I didn't have to use the bathroom in the middle of it. I'm an old man.
That's
I gotta
true.
go a lot.
Yeah. I mean, Spider-Verse, of course, Spider-Verse was good, but my top 3, none of them are superhero movies,
Okay, what do you got?
which I'm like shocked by.
Is Barbie on there?
Barbie is on there. I thought Barbie was like a really, really solid movie. You know what movie we didn't talk about that was so great was Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh,
That was surprisingly
yeah.
good. Yeah.
That was really good.
But no, wait, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is obviously on the list. It has to be number 1.
It
Like,
has to be.
Guardians of the
I
Galaxy
was gonna
3.
be shocked if you did not put that on your list.
No, Guardians 3 is absolutely on the list. Barbie was another one that I'm like, I was just so impressed and thrilled with how it turned out. And I saw The Boy and the Heron.
I didn't see that one. That might have gone on my list.
It just came
I didn't see
out,
it.
but
Yeah.
I
That's
just
what I mean.
saw it.
I've had COVID and been traveling now for like 3 weeks at this point.
Right?
I'm on
oh,
day
I
10.
did.
I'm on day 11 of my COVID.
Oh, good. Yeah,
11.
how you feeling?
I feel fine. I'm a little stuffed
You
up.
sound good.
But I'm still popping positive. So according to everything, I can leave the house and I'm not contagious. But I don't want to like, Dan, let's go rock climbing. And then Dan gets
Right.
COVID, and apparently I'm the anomaly.
Yeah.
I just wear a mask at this point.
Exactly. No, they tell you to anyway. But yeah, it's what did I see? Yeah. I mean, like, I saw Die Hard in the theater. I know it's like a 40-year-old movie, but I saw that the other day, and that was awesome again.
For a second, I was
Godzilla
like, they came
Minus
out with
One came
another
out.
one.
Yeah,
I feel like, in all honesty, Godzilla would have gotten on my list, except the
If I
first
saw
time
it.
that I was going to see it, Natalie had something come up, so we rescheduled it, and then I had COVID. So I
Yeah.
haven't been able to go see. Like, we tried twice, and just fate
Yeah.
got in the. I do feel like that would have been on my list, though.
Totally. I didn't see -1 yet, so that's another one that I missed. But I will catch at some point.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
sure.
definitely gonna see that. I'm a huge Godzilla fan.
Totally.
All right, so let's
There's a
move on.
bunch.
This is gonna be a fun one for Sal because Sal doesn't play that many video games.
Mm.
Now I'm gonna do. You get one. You get one video game. Okay.
I have
What?
to look up what came out this year because.
I already know mine. Everyone's already asked mine. I already know my number one game of the
Naturally.
year. Okay.
Okay.
My game of the year, Dredge.
Oh wow, you played Dredge?
I did. So for me, game of the year, and everyone likes to ask
Robbed.
Robbed? Yeah.
Robbed. It was stolen from. Should have gotten best indie game of the year.
Oh, 100%. Easy. For me, a game award and even a movie award to an extent. Now, I guess movie award for me is different. That's why I gave 3 because it's more like, did the movie speak to you? Do you remember it? That kind of thing.
Exactly.
For a game with me, the game has to do something different.
Yes.
Like if the game is a sequel and it's a rehash of the prior game, I don't think it deserves game of the year. That's not to say the game isn't good. Like I think Baldur's Gate deserved the game title. Like I think it deserved game of the year because people are like, oh, what about Spider-Man 2? And I'm like, the fact of the matter is Spider-Man 2 is just Spider-Man 1 and Miles again.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's not different. Doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that I don't think it deserved game of the year. For me, Dredge, I've never played a game that combined all of those elements into a working, functioning game that I was glued to for like a week.
Right.
So that's why Dredge for me is game of the year.
Yeah. I played, I mean, Spider-Man 2 obviously was the one I was looking forward to the most, and while playing it was fun, the story was not as good as either of the last two.
Yeah.
I think it was fine. It was up to the standards I expect. It just didn't, the story did not hit me the way I was hoping it would.
Right.
And I kept like, it was very stressful, you know, because I'm like, you could feel this game tell you that Peter is like, is going to be irrelevant. Like you could feel this game being like,
that's the
Miles
message they wanted to get across.
like, yeah, the message of this game was very much like Peter's leaving. Like that was the feel of this game. And I was like, that's very stressful for me because I'm like, that's what I'm here for. Yeah, I like Miles and I like playing Miles, and if I want to play more Miles, I'll buy Miles's game.
Oh,
and I'll do it
that's
every
what
time.
I want 3 Peter games, 3 Miles games. And other people that are like, oh, what if Insomniac doesn't want to make them anymore? Cool. Insomniac's owned by Sony. There's money here. They could just make a Spider-Man division and go make the other games they want to make. I'm all for that.
Right, but I mean, if Insomniac doesn't want to do that anymore, knock yourselves out. Then fine. Then I won't play your games.
Yeah.
Like, or I'll play Wolverine or whatever. You know, that's the end of it. But you know, there were you know, as far as video games go, I think Mario Kart dropped a whole bunch of new tracks, and They were all great and a lot of fun. I had a blast playing them with my friends and family, so that's definitely up there for me. Was the new Mario Kart tracks for the Nintendo Switch were pretty great.
Dan, game of the year. So you're saying Mario Kart DLC tracks were your game of the year?
Yeah, Mario Kart 8.
I'm actually so glad you put that in there because I was trying to run through my head of different games that I've even played this year, and so many that I want to put on that list I never actually finished because it was fun, but it didn't hold my attention through the entirety of the game. Because I was going to say Sea of Stars. That one I fell off because I got to the point where Kickstarter showed up, and then I realized that somehow I was a part of the Kickstarter part that wasn't put on the game, and so I was kind of bummed, and so I kind of put it down, and I just never picked it back up. But I would say, and this could be weird, but the new World of Warcraft Season of Discovery thing that's been out this past month or so, it's been really good because it's just a twist on the original classic WoW, and I invested so much of my life into that game, especially that version, that it's really fun having a new version of it where it feels the same, but it also feels different, and it's just been super fun, and it sticks in my head a lot better than any of the other games that I've played this year.
I liked that our movies were kind of on the same levels.
Yeah.
Like no one picked anything out there. And then for gaming, I picked an indie game. Sal picked a DLC pack, and you picked a season of a game that's been around for literally 19 years.
Yeah.
Hey, this is our show, right? We can pick whatever we want.
That's right.
I think with mine, there's also a little bit behind it of this. In the community, it's theorized that this is going to lead into the Classic Plus, which everyone's kind of been wanting and hoping for. So I feel like my excitement over this is also attributed by what might come from this.
Yeah. I got a really big feeling from Blizzard that they really resent that people want to play the old game.
Oh, sure.
I think they did, and then they were like, okay, we're going to put a small group on this, and then it did insanely well, and they're like, okay, just look up different private servers, see which ones are popular, steal those ideas, put it into class.
Oh, yeah, that's
seriously, like,
steal stuff all the time.
And
they were just like, did we, like, at some point or other, they were just like, did we break WoW? Like, did we just break the effing game?
I've been trying to go back recently just to get raid ready on retail, and I'm just like, it's so boring and so old and so just funky and janky. All right, so let's move on to the comic discussion. Now, Sal, you and I were kind of making fun of this. We were trying to remember big events or big comic series that came out this year. Because I remember a lot of comics, but was it 2023 is the question.
Yeah.
Every Google search, and I hate this.
You're right.
IGN, Games Radar, all these publications, they all want to act like some pretentious, snobby little like comic book reader who is like, we'll mention Marvel and DC because we have to. But here's my 20 indie books none of you have heard of that I want to tell you that are so much better than just what
like,
are we?
I have a responsibility with my reach to tell people about these books that none of them read that I thought were just the greatest thing since sliced bread. I should say that in the list that I'm bringing up, 3 of them I read that I loved also.
Right.
Like, it wasn't like they were wrong.
And
but
everybody
also,
can do the same thing. Google best comics of 2023. Every list is just filled with books you've never heard of.
Which, by the way, like,
for the record, I want to say, and I know Sal does too, we read a lot of indie books.
Yes.
We both do. I don't talk about them as much because you guys don't care about them.
Exactly. And like, maybe that's a testament. Like, maybe the fact that all these lists are trying to get exposure for indie books because indie books need the exposure, and because main big 2 books are kind of blending into each other a little bit. And one of the things that I like noticed in one of my earlier shows, I brought this up where I was like, I feel like 2023, despite like it's like there in every year there's going to be great comic books every year, regardless of what like the vast minority of people on the internet have to say when compared to actual readers of comic books. Every year great comics come out. And that being said, I felt like 2023 was a pretty unremarkable year in comparison to previous years. There were some great books this year, but like the best books, some of the books that I'm like, these are the best books, are just the rest of the comic from last year.
Okay, then I'll agree. For individual plots, I will say that.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's start this off. DC or Marvel for the year. We'll just start with
DC.
that. I agree 100% because Dawn of DC.
Marvel-
Dawn of DC has is the most cohesive DC has felt, the most forward progressing DC has felt across the line. There's only like one or two books that are not being reflected in the line-wide events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we haven't had this from DC since, I will say, like 2019.
Right.
It's been a while.
Yeah, because DC death metal, the crazy finale to the whole metal thing.
Yeah.
That was not. It was okay. It wasn't cool. It wasn't
but it sold. That's the thing is
that right before death metals, right where it felt like DC was kooky. That was the end of Rebirth era.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. No.
But Marvel, I love Marvel, but X-Men is amazing and insanely difficult to properly follow.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man has been a yo-yo of
Spider-Man's a mess.
I'm not even talking Zeb Wells. I'm talking like Zeb Wells, Dan Slott, all the hundreds of miniseries they've started from like that. What was that like spine-tingling
Spider-Man? There's Spider-Boy, Superior Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man.
It's all over the place is my point. Some
It's
are great,
all over
some
the
are not
place.
good, and it's like it's difficult to be a Spider-Man fan right now because you don't even know what to read that is good.
100%.
Yep. Avengers, I like Jason Aaron, but that finale for Avengers Forever was what the. You didn't like his run in general, but I didn't mind it up until Avengers Forever. Then it was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
and then Jed McKay took over Avengers, and I read the first issue and was like, boring, and just dropped it immediately.
I
forgot that was still going.
Yeah, because it's that unremarkable. I understand that like people like it, but it's just like it's more of the same.
But the point I'm getting at is, personally, I feel with Dawn of DC, the cohesiveness, the event, like they actually halted books so the events could happen and told you where the events happened. Things like that. Like, DC has felt good again in 2023. And I'm going on, like, you guys know I'm a DC fan. I'm a fan for both of them, but I'm a DC fan.
Yeah.
I feel like DC pretty much fell off the rocker at 2019 until now. This year, they finally got their footing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jan, you didn't pick DC or Marvel.
I think overall DC, but I feel like, I mean, I know Sal said he's not the biggest fan of the Avengers #1, but I mean, for me, most of my favorite books this year were Jed McKay, and I enjoyed the Avengers #1. I think that's because of reasons or things that happened during this year. My passion for comics dwindled just a little bit. But those were always the ones that I did follow the most, the Jed McKay. And so the newest Avengers one for me, because I had missed a couple of the finale of the previous run, mostly because I didn't really enjoy where that run was even going. So I kind of fell off to begin with. I thought that one was a really good start for a new Avengers run. And I think that's kind of why I liked it a lot more. But I think if we were to say as a whole, DC did better. Like Dawn of DC, like even Night Terrors. I think that one, it had some parts where you're like, okay, I don't know why exactly you did that. I still think it was a pretty well done event compared to.
I think Night Terrors' the main story for Night Terrors is really good. Yeah, the problem I think that everyone had with Night Terrors is it wasn't a Batman story; it was a Dead Man story. So if you didn't like Dead Man, you were like, well, this is dumb, this is stupid. And the tie-ins, the problem with the tie-ins is they straight off the bat told you that they were old nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
So even the good ones, like Nightwing killing Batman, you were like, but where are you really gonna go with this? Like,
yeah. It was just an exploration. It was like, okay, that's cool.
You know, I did a little research, Sal, from our last stuff that we did over there. Mind Bomb is the end of Zur-En-Arrh, at least for now.
Great.
He's doing Joker year 1 after that. That's the next 3 issues afterwards. So
that's right.
This I think it's next week is the last issue.
That's right.
Or they're gonna bump it an extra week because of Christmas.
Oh yeah.
They'll probably bump it a week because of Christmas.
I don't know. Keep an eye out.
So okay, now individual stuff that you enjoyed over this year.
Yeah. Oh god.
Let's do 3 because it's gonna be difficult. Why don't you go first?
Interesting. 3.
You gotta pick 3 that if somebody was like, I need 3. You're in an elevator. Someone's going up in the elevator with you and like, I need 3 things to read this year.
Yeah. I mean, they have to finish Gotham City year 1, but that was a continuation of last year. Birds of Prey was a fantastic series that dropped in 2023, and it's definitely worth reading. Kelly Thompson proves she should have taken over Amazing Spider-Man instead of Zeb Wells, but also has a chance to do this amazing, beautiful book about dope characters kicking ass, and with some fantastic art from Romero. Definitely worth checking out. I think, it's interesting. There's a lot of different books that dropped. I think Batman Superman World's Finest is another fantastic series. It didn't launch in 2023, but it just continued to be great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, it continued to be
World's
the
Finest
Justice League book that doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like, just if you're missing Justice League, just read Batman Superman World's Finest. If you don't like what's happening in Batman, read Batman Superman World's Finest. And if you like Superman, keep reading Joshua Williamson's Superman, and also grab Batman Superman World's Finest.
I am gonna go with, because 2023 limited, Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern.
You were singing its praises last week.
It's one of those things that started strong, picked up steam, and then the cliffhanger on 6, I'm like, you got me. I'm hooked. I want to know where this is going. So I'm taking that as my DC pick.
Nice.
Marvel, it's hard because I want to say Wolverine. Wolverine's been great. I love what they're doing with Wolverine, Benjamin Percy's run.
Mm-hmm.
But you're all right. It didn't start in 2023. It's almost 3 years old now. It's
Yeah.
still, you know what I mean? It's kind of an older book. So,
Yeah.
You know what? I'll pick a 2023 book, Uncanny Spider-Man.
Yes, that was a great book. Yeah. It's a great series. Launched in 2023. Yeah. No, that counts.
And I'm gonna pick an independent book.
Okay.
Radiant Black, for the same reason, would be my pick, but it's been going on forever now.
Right, but it did do a new thing. If there's a new thing happening in it, so
yeah, I got it sent over to me. But what I will say is I'll go with the new Transformers run.
Oh,
because I love Transformers. It's a fresh start. I
Yep.
like getting into it, and it's easy to recommend now. So
yes, it is. Well, Daniel Warren Johnson, you can anytime he's on the list, it's like, oh well, I recommend it immediately, sight unseen. But the Transformers book, it's fun. It's fun. It's not as exciting as his other works, but it is still exciting. I still like it.
Yeah.
I didn't say a lot of Marvel, but I will point out I really liked Gods, and Straczynski's Captain America is also really cool.
Okay, Dan.
I misunderstood what the question was. Because, well, you said, what's your one thing for the year? I didn't realize you meant the comics. I was going to just go in general because I felt like 2023 was a really good year for anime. And I was
going to do anime last. That's our last thing.
Oh, that was going to be...
Sal has no anime, so...
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. Well, I can't... I was too focused on thinking of that I can't even think of a comic specifically. So I guess I'll start that portion of the anime talk. But no, I thought this year, like, we just simply got a lot of really good different anime. We got a bunch of good new seasons, good conclusions. I mean, we had the Ash Ketchum finally became the world champion, which if you had followed Ash at any point in his journey, I feel like that moment impacted you at least on some degree, just because it was like wow, he finally did it. And if you've seen the battle between the two, it's just, it was such a really good moment. I really enjoyed that. There was just a lot of really good new anime that also came out this year that just were really fun, like Mashal, which is just One Punch Man at Hogwarts. We had Shangri-La Frontier. We had like the new seasons of different things like Jujutsu Kaisen. We had the One Piece anime live action adaptation. Like, I feel like 2023 was just a really, really good year for anime. So much so that it dominated my thought process of what you were actually asking.
What, is that comics?
I didn't hear that part. I thought you said you said we're done with the comics. What was just your thing of this year? I guess.
Well, for anime, I'm very bad about watching current anime because I hate waiting for episodes. So I think I've only seen one releasing this year. So Zom 100, because it's the only one I've seen that's a current release. But I did watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm all the way up to season 5 of that right now. Witch of Mercury from Gundam was amazing. Loved that. I finally finished up on Demon Slayer. Loved that. Jujutsu Kaisen. Liking the 5 episodes I've seen.
There we go. That's five issues.
You'll deal with
5
it,
episodes
You'll
is
deal
enough.
But yeah, no, I've only seen one that's actually releasing this year. So. All right, well, that's all of our favorite stuff for 2023. There's one guy who showed up really late today, and I could see him pop in, and he was yawning and rubbing his eyes like he literally just woke up. So he's going to shotgun all of his picks.
My favorite picks of 2023 go as such. For comics, I was reading a lot of Boom Studios' Power Rangers run. Obviously, it had a pretty big height a couple years ago, and then since then they've slowed down. But the narrative that they told in between, especially this year, it's been pretty interesting. A lot of
my only complaint with the
takes.
Power Ranger stuff is that I just feel like they're trying to do too much clickbait with it. It
They
feels
are,
like
they
every
are.
other issue is like, new Green Ranger, new friend
Yes.
from the past, new White Ranger. Like, it's just like, okay, what are you doing?
It's a lot. They're intense with that. I definitely prefer. I think it's the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers run is the original team, and then it's like the just Power Rangers run, which is the what's it called?
Omega Rangers.
Omega Rangers team. Okay, yeah, that's how tired I am, guys. I did definitely just wake up a minute ago. And oh, I'm late for the last episode of the year. But no, the
Of
Omega
all the
Rangers,
episodes to be late for, the last
and I
one of
haven't
the-
been late for some time now. Okay, and here's the thing. Like I
Now
woke
you're
up.
never going to hear the end of it.
I know. My friend texted me. I texted her. I was like, I'm gonna be late. She's like, oh my god, are you gonna get in trouble? I was like, no, I'm gonna get bullied. But no, I love the Omega Rangers. I thought that is the freshest take they could have done to such an old IP. It's the coolest way to bring everything in. I prefer that storyline a lot to the very clickbaity Mighty Morphin. Oh, there's a new Green Ranger. He's a government Green Ranger. Oh, Billy helped with it. Billy might be a bet. Nah, it's all clickbait, whatever.
Yeah.
But I still enjoy it. I think Radiant Black is probably more fun than that, considering that's Kyle Higgins really back on his A game, and he's not over at the Power Rangers books anymore, but still enjoyed the Power Rangers books quite a bit. This might be a bad take, because I hear people really crapping it on Twitter, but I really like Nightwing's Bloodhaven run.
yeah.
I know it
love
concluded this year, or maybe it's still going, but
It kind of concluded. It had a
Yeah.
definitive ending, and then Tom Taylor. I swear he was leaving the book. Like, this was his finale.
It sure seems like it.
And no, I swear he said he was leaving it to go write Titans.
Yeah.
And then no one else took over, and Tom Taylor just kept going. I was like,
yeah.
now he's a pirate. The pirate run started the supposed new era.
okay.
So,
Okay, but I thoroughly enjoyed that. Nightwing is probably one of my favorite characters. He's one of the few characters that I haven't like fallen off from. I was a big Wally West guy, but Wally West has had quite a few turns over the last several years where I don't really think I need to read his runs. I think I'll hear about it in the big event where he killed somebody or messed with a timeline or wants his kids back or
Yeah,
wants
don't
new
read
kids
that.
back, wants a wife or two maybe. I don't know. He's a bonkers guy these days. So that I thoroughly enjoyed that. Manga, I picked up My Hero Academia this year, like as a manga, not just reading or watching the anime. Anime was great. Manga, obviously, definitely they're overdoing it because we're in the finale season, but I'm enjoying it. Every episode feels like, you know that My Hero Academia song, You Say Run, the main theme. Every single moment of the last like 20 chapters has felt like that is blasting at full volume while you're reading. Every page is like, oh my god. Oh my god.
You're fortunate enough that you're not waiting for the weekly releases, because I hate it, because I'm waiting for the weekly releases and so little happens. In
Oh
in
no,
each
I am
chapter.
now too. It sucks. It
Yeah, it's so bad.
But I got to the weeklies on like the beginning of the clearly what has to be the final block of these fights. There's no way they can keep
That's
turning
what
away to
since
another
the
fight.
beginning. I'm like, this is bonkers. It's gonna be fine once it's all done.
Yeah,
And you're not waiting.
it's gonna be animated in 2 episodes, 3 episodes, maybe. It'll
Yeah,
be great.
it's gonna be in
It'll-
3 episodes. We've been
It'll
waiting
probably
a
be
year.
a season. Honestly, they really spent their time. I feel like this season though, preemptively, I will do other things unless we're reviewing it during the run of it, so I can binge it. Because the way it's being written, I definitely know it's going to be a binge. But I enjoyed the anime. I enjoyed reading the manga. I picked up Demon Slayer again last week, caught up on the anime, and then read it into the next chapter of the manga. Enjoyed the anime. Was a little bit bored into the next chapter as far as the manga is concerned. Mushoku Tensei, still my biggest pick of the last couple years. This year's version of Mushoku Tensei, it takes it from this beautiful fantasy anime that is very Lord of the Rings in its world building, from this big action adventure, slows it down to a little bit of a romance anime. Kind of fun, very different pacing wise, still the same lovable narrative, wonderful animation through and through. And then I think that's it for comic books and then manga adjacent stuff. I read other stuff here and there.
We're giving you 3 movies. So
3 movies.
and 1 game.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Okay.
Up there for me immediately. Trying to think see, that's the tough part, because I used to have to pick from a crop of so many movies I love. But I'm going to Google real quick.
Well, see, that's what I did. I said if I
release.
were, my picks were Spider-Verse, Guardians 3, and actually the Transformers Beast Wars. And my argument was, if I still remembered it came out this year, it must have stayed with me for something.
I bet it's Adam Driver 65. You remember that movie?
No, no.
I liked Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Barbie, and Across the Spider-Verse for sure. Those are the 3 movies that I walked out with the
All
most.
right.
And then here's let me add one more consolation, because it's not hitting the levels of these 2 movies, but it was a standout surprise. Hunger Games: Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes. That was up there. That was up there. Had these other movies not popped up, easily would have been the top movie that was entirely unexpected on that list.
Surprised neither you or Dan or Sal, with how much you were praising it, didn't pick Turtles.
Yeah. I love Turtles.
I didn't watch it.
yeah.
Wow, I never praised it.
Okay.
I thought you were aboard of Turtles. I thought you were. I was the one that was
wanted
like,
to
yeah,
see it. I just
Dang
never
it.
did.
You know what? Let me redo my list. Redo my list. Okay. No, honestly, it's a top 5 movie. It's not a number 1 movie. I loved it. I actually rewatched it this weekend with my girlfriend's little brothers, and watching kids watch it, whole other experience, because these guys were dialed in. They were like trying to pick a movie, and they're like real picky, fussy kids, man. And they could not. They were like, I don't know, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch this. I don't want this. And the Ninja Turtles came on, and within like 3 minutes, they were just glued to that screen. Captivating visuals. I would put that as my number 4, and then Ballad of Songbirds is my number 5, and that's my top 5.
Games, so we can wrap up today's
games. Done deal. Spider-Man's probably the only game that wasn't Fortnite that I played this year, because I've been in such a I'm just here kind of I'm working mode. So definitely Spider-Man 2 took me out of everything else. Let me play that for a while. I didn't play Baldur's Gate. I didn't play any of the big game of the years, so I can't speak to the quality of those games. So Spider-Man.
All right, guys, that's our picks for 20.
No, I finally looked up comics to make sure I remembered what came out this year. I wanted to participate. I think all of these actually didn't technically start this year, but they concluded this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
X-Men Red. I really enjoyed that one. I thought that was fantastic. Dark Knights of Steel was also amazing.
That took like 5 years to come out.
Yeah,
I know,
but did end this year.
That's why I completely forgot that it was like a thing.
And the hardcovers came out this year.
Yep. And then Jed McKay's Strange finished this year, which was Clea Strange's little stint as Sorcerer Supreme.
Enjoyed that one.
I love that one. And then the Deadpool run with by Alyssa Wong, where Deadpool has like his little Carnage dog puppy thing.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that
People
one.
had so many problems with that run, and I'm like, do you guys just not like fun? He has a Carnage dog. What is
Hey,
this?
right?
Nobody likes to have fun anymore. It's like, this is unrealistic. This is comic books. If we wanted realism, we'd go pick up a nonfiction novel
Deadpool in
today.
a love story? That's not good. It's not fun. It's not interesting. I'm like, what? You're just
Okay,
not like fun.
wacko.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Like love. Sorry someone broke your heart, but we want to watch Carnage Dog.
Yeah.
What about Deceased Undead Gods? I wasn't a huge fan of Deceased 3.
It was fine.
It existed.
At least it ended well. Like I was
Yeah,
like,
it
all right.
ended the
Yeah.
whole thing. I'll give it that. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, that is everything. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know your opinions and your takes down below, and we'll see you next time right here at Absolute Comics after the holidays.